everybody, Stephen Howson. Want to do a little bit of transfer talk. Did you like the graphic that just preceded the video? I'm going to start doing a little bit of a motion graphic. So every different style of video that I do, from the gaming, the retro gaming, to transfer talk, I'm going to try and come up with like a little bit of a graphical opener for every one of the videos that I do. So they've all got their own personality, they've all got their own sort of look and feel, and then they can all sort of go in their own little playlists and stuff like that. Just trying to smooth things out on the way certain aspects of my channel are run. Hopefully it makes it easier to find the sort of stuff that you like and all the rest of it. So, big one today. Daily Blind and Juan Mata being linked with moves away, and Paul Pogba, right, this is the quote from the Independent, informally put on the transfer list. What the hell does that mean? Informally put on the transfer list. Never heard of anything as mad as that in my life. So let's start at the beginning with Mata and Blind. Juan Mata, it was in jeopardy, I think, from the moment Mourinho was rumoured, let alone announced. He sold him at Chelsea, but I don't think that was enough for him to be moved on. He had options at Chelsea. He's not got the same options at United, so I didn't think it would be that much of an issue. I thought that you could still have a working relationship because he's a wonderful footballer. Mata's sort of come out and said willing to work under Mourinho, so it's obviously down to Mourinho, and by the sounds of it, Mourinho says no. Mourinho says no, then it's no. And that's about that, isn't it? So if Mourinho don't want him, he's out the door. Luckily, he does have a bit of a resale value. I would expect you're going to get 25 to 30 million, I would expect, for Juan at the moment. So let's hope that they can get that. Daily Blind, don't see that one myself. Blind's one of the most versatile and intelligent footballers that we've got in the squad. If you're going to bring in someone better than him at centre-half, I understand the need for that. I understand the want for someone maybe a bit more physical, or someone a little bit taller, someone a little bit faster. I get that. But Daily Blind offers you cover, at least, if not being a starter, because he probably isn't a starter on the face of things, but he gives you great cover, and with the amount of injury-prone players that we've got, cover that you would need, definitely, in at least 3 different positions. So I think that's a wonderful asset to have as a club. His passing range is fantastic, he's intelligent, he's a proper cerebral player, and I like that about him. So him being touted to go as well, not sure I understand that. I can understand Mata, even though I wouldn't want it, I get it. With Blind, I don't want it and I don't get it either. However, if you say the only way that Paul Pogba comes to Manchester United this summer, or ever, is if Blind and Mata are mate weights as part of the deal. Now, whether they go to Juventus or whether they go elsewhere or anything like that, if that's the only way that it can happen, then cool, I'll help them pack. Because I think Paul Pogba is one of the best midfielders in the world, if not the best midfielder in that particular position. Now, if Mourinho plays 4-2-3-1, you play Pogba as part of the two. He's a box-to-box midfielder. He does his fair share of the dirty stuff as well as the attacking stuff that you see, and the attacking threat that you would get from Pogba. He scores spectacular goals. We've not had a threat from that deep in midfield for a long time, and I think that those goals alone would be the difference in a lot of games. And I would be very interested to see it. Now, there's talk that you would have to pay a world record fee for him. That doesn't sit right with a lot of people, because obviously we had him for free, or whatever we paid, like a nominal fee that we paid for him when we stole him from France. That doesn't sit right with a lot of people. Doesn't bother me. Different regime. Let's just treat him as another player that's on the market. He's not ours, so we're going to have to buy him. Whether or not he was here and in the past, it's irrelevant really, isn't it? Because you're looking at the here and now. Wasn't Mourinho that got rid of him, wasn't Ed Woodward that got rid of him, so no harm, no foul, let's get him in if that's the case. If he wants to come, if there's a chance of him going to City, and all we would have had to done is match what they're offering, he would come here, then I think it's absolutely ludicrous that we don't go for him, if that's the case, and we don't go for him. So, interesting to see what happens with Paul Pogba. The papers immediately link him to United because, oh look, this player's about to move, let's link him with United, because it's news regardless, isn't it? Whether or not we're even interested. He might already be sewn up going to Barcelona. I could see Madrid pulling out a signing like that. I mean, I could even see Bayern Munich pulling out a signing like that at the moment. They're just hoovering up talent left, right and centre, aren't they? And I think that's probably going to break at some point for Bayern Munich, because you can't have 2 world-class players for every single position and keep them all happy. Players, especially the top-level players, are egocentric and they want to play every single game. And at the moment, when they sign all these players, in the back of the red, that player's going, well, it's not going to be me that gets dropped, it'll be the other guy that plays in my position, or in some players' case, the other 11 that play in my position if they're a central midfielder at Bayern. But after the reality of a season or two of being sat on the bench, being second choice, getting 15 sub-appearances and 8 starts, it begins to grate on players when they know they've only got a short career. They need to be getting into the international squads to go and get to the big tournaments and stuff like that. And I think they see their arse and eventually they want to move on. Real Madrid have a massive turnover of players because of that. I think you might start to see the same sort of thing going on at Bayern Munich as well now. So it'd be interesting to see where Paul Pogba ends up. Mata, I think, like I said a second ago, I think if Mourinho doesn't fancy him, then he doesn't fancy him, and what can you do about that? Managers have certain favourites, and they also have players that they don't fancy, and Mata was clearly one he didn't fancy. Didn't treat him great at Chelsea. He must be cursing the way that Mourinho was following him around now. But what can you do? If he goes to Spain, he'll probably end up being a wonderful player for someone that appreciates him and someone that starts him all the time, because it's been ludicrous some of the things that have happened with Mourinho, with Mata. I think in his time at United, he's like the most either chance creation or most involvement in goals directly, either as a scorer or as an assister, somewhat along those lines. If he's not the number one, he's in the ballpark. I think since he's been at United, that 18-month or whatever it is. It's longer than 18 months. It'll be 2.5 years now, won't it? So that's that. Paul Pogba. Do I think it's going to happen? I think he'll leave Juventus. I do think he'll leave Juventus. But I'm not sure I can see him rocking up in United. At United. I think he's the sort of player Mourinho would like. He's a beast. And I could see one day Timothy Fosu-Mensah and Pogba as a midfield partnership. Can you imagine? That's mouth-watering. Fosu-Mensah is actually a player that I hope... I've written, it was probably like December or something like that, I wrote an article on my blog, the next big academy, or the next Manchester United academy superstar, and it was Fosu-Mensah. The kid has got it all. Decent as a defender, you know what you're getting, but when you put him in field, you get that extra dimension to his game. You get what he can do on the ball as well. And that's what I really want to see. Didn't see enough of him last season. Obviously, the bits that we did see were quite impressive from him. So I just want to see him given the chance to shine. Pre-season, we've got 2 tough games. He's obviously not doing anything with Holland over the summer. So give Fosu-Mensah good pre-season and just pick him as first choice. Let him get 90 minutes against City. Let him get 90 minutes against Dortmund. They're going to be 2 tests for him, regardless of it, whether it's pre-season or not. And let's just have an assessment of him then. Maybe even give him the Charity Shield as well at centre mid as that box-to-box destroyer, and see what happens, because I think you've got a hell of a player on your hands. Most young players, when you look at them, they're lacking physicality, they're lacking a little bit in maturity and experience, obviously. Fosu-Mensah's got the physicality side of things. He's a monster of a man. So I think he's only going to get bigger as well. That's the scary part. I'd really like to see Fosu-Mensah brought into that. I think he's absolutely mega. And I'd love to see him start next season. That, I think, I'm excited about Mourinho coming in, but I'm more excited about how Fosu-Mensah is now going to develop, because we've seen him in the first team, supposedly getting a new 4-year deal as well. Rashford yesterday and Borthwick Jackson signed up, so I think Fosu-Mensah won't be far behind. Very interesting to see how he comes in. If I'm going to give you the possibilities of Mata leaving, Blind leaving, I'd say Mata's probably about 60% chance that'll happen. Blind, I think that's a bit less, 30-40%, unless someone's come in for an offer with him and told him that he'll be a first choice player. And Pogba coming in, I give that only a 25% chance of happening. And the reasons I think it could happen: 1, because I think we're going to throw money around this summer; 2, because I think he is the sort of player Mourinho would go for; 3, because I can see Juventus wanting to sell him on. But then I also think we never sign players like that. We never sign players at the peak of their game like that. It's just not the United way, is it? Whether we would like it to have been or not, we never sign that level of player. We always go for the next tier down or the tier down after that. We look at more potential rather than actual. I think that'll do for tonight. I've recorded a retro gaming one. It's a Championship Manager one. Might try and get either a FIFA or a football manager one done today or tomorrow, and try and stack them up, because Thursday I'm going to the Army Flying Museum to do some stuff for D-Day, seeing as though I am not going to France now. I can't make it to France over the weekend, so I'm doing some stuff on D-Day still, and I'll be recording that at the Army Flying Museum on Thursday, so I need to stack up some stuff to release over Wednesday and Thursday, so that's what I'll be doing mostly tonight. Thank you for watching. We're over 12,000. That means that we're now aiming down for that 15,000. Over 3,500 subscribers in the last month, which on projection puts us at like crazy figures for the end of the year. Can't even bear thinking about. We're still going for 20k for Christmas. Pretty confident we'll get that, and then who knows. Listen, that's all because of you guys, so thank you for subscribing, thank you for tuning in, and I'll see you soon, no doubt. See you in a bit.